My name is Adeola Adelusi and I am a Global Study Management Associate in Clinical Research. I grew up in East London, West Ham, Stratford, pretty much same area, same postcode. Obviously being brought up in East London, I was here, but we had a lot of family outside of East London as well, so I got to see many parts of London growing up. But actually growing up in my area in particular, I would say that it did have its, its great moments, and it's not so great moments with obviously things like postcode wars and stuff as well. But it was actually, I'd say, not too bad. I quite enjoyed it. What I do now is I work in clinical research. At the moment, I'm in early phase oncology, which is cancer research. And yeah, I've been doing this, well, I've been in this kind of industry for about 5 years now, and I never thought I'd be in it. Yeah, that's what I do now. I got into clinical research because through when I was younger, I had a best friend who passed away of cancer, but it was not the average normal cancer. It was an osteosarcoma, which is a cancer in the bone. So for about 2 or 3 years, he was living with this, and he had issues with his bone in his hip. And we thought, as he was growing up, he's quite tall. We played basketball together. It's just that maybe, he's saying he's just got one leg longer than the other. So we just thought, oh, okay, he needs to just rest. But over time, that grew to be a big problem, and he went through the whole chemotherapy, was then put in a hospice, and that's where he passed. But I think for me, what kind of really geared me into clinical research was that, okay, if I knew more, if we all knew more at that time, then his outcome could have been a lot better. We could have known the signs we could have seen the signs from the beginning and actually worked on that. So that's the reason why I'm in clinical research right now. What keeps me going is actually just taking in that knowledge I'm able to share with people around me. And if I see something, I'm able to be like, okay, cool, that's pretty serious. So yeah, and it's mainly because of that. I just want to get knowledge that I can share with others and improve people's lives. A normal day at work for me looks like going into the office in Cambridge in the morning. Sometimes I may start off with a meeting, but what I do is literally just check through my emails, as we are monitoring patients who may be in different continents. We've got patients in the US, patients all across the world. Stuff can happen outside of UK office hours, so it's mainly catching up on that. And then I'd usually be in meetings with the rest of my study team. So there's about 5 of us. We'd meet just to kind of talk about the different areas that we all manage. So each person is in charge of a vendor, or not necessarily in charge, but we manage and monitor them and see what data we're getting from that and see what decisions we need to take in the day. Sometimes it can be quite, sometimes we can get loads of action. Sometimes we may not get so much, but at the same time, those moments mean a lot in terms of a clinical trial, because patients are consistently taking a drug, and if we hear that there are no issues with this patient taking drugs, it could be that it's not being recorded, or it could be that there actually are no issues. So we need to be aware of the situation at all times. I am constantly putting out flyers. If I could say that, I am working with vendors to resolve issues quickly, because it affects different continents in different ways. If something affects the UK, or distribution center somewhere decides that they can't maybe take stuff in because of the health situation or a crisis, then that will affect the entire study, and everyone needs to be aware of it really quickly. So from my role, we're able to get that information out really quickly to the sites and to the patients that need it most. We also organise what do I do in a typical work day? Yeah, have meetings with doctors across the world as well. We meet with uh, programmers, stats, statistical analysts, and yeah, so many different kinds of people that are involved in making sure the data comes out clean and that it's all recorded accurately as well and safely. I went to university and I studied biomedical science because medicine was something I wanted to do, but then last minute I said no. I'm quite a really sociable, creative person as well on the side. I like to have fun with everybody around me. So I was like, biomed science sounds like I could just do 3 years at uni and then I could still enjoy my time as a youth. So after finishing biomedical science, I knew I didn't want to work in a lab. I had no idea what else I could do because that just seemed like the normal career path. And I even spoke to my tutor about it, and he was like, "Oh, well, you could go work for this company in another kind of a lab where you're just kind of shifting things along a conveyor belt." And I was like, that's not the kind of job I want to look to. So after I finished university, I was working in retail for about 2 years. It was a tech retail company called Apple. So for about 2 years, and then someone came along into my life and introduced me to clinical research with the skills that I had, and I was just thought, this is actually incredible. So after that, I set my mind to it that this is something I wanted to explore. I started looking at opportunities, applying myself, seeing what other kinds of training I needed, because I was out of education for almost 2 years. I was like, I need to get my mind going. And then one day after leaving Apple, I didn't have a job then. I bumped into a friend and they said, "Oh, apply for this job. Like, I work here. You'll be really great fit here." So I applied. And at the same time, I told my family that, you know what, if it is I don't get a job after leaving Apple after my birthday, I will buy a one-way ticket to Berlin and start a new life. But just before I planned to do that, I got the job. This was in a clinical research phase 1 unit in Croydon Hospital. So from East London to Croydon, that was my first job in clinical research, and that's how it all started. What I have learned in this journey so far is that it doesn't matter where you've come from, it doesn't matter what you do. All that matters really is about what you think about most, because from what you think about, you'll be able to create so many things for yourself, of yourself. There's one scripture that when I was younger, my parents made me like decorate the house a little bit with scriptures. I put one scripture in the bathroom, which was, "Be careful how you think. Your life is shaped by your thoughts," which is Proverbs 4:23, in a different version to what was usually read. So that was what was kind of, I read that every time I went to the bathroom. Imagine that, like, you're looking around the bathroom and you're reading that like 4 or 5 times. It's going to sink into you, and that's what I went on with. So thinking positively, thinking that, yeah, you know what, I can actually do this. If there's anything I wanted to do, just put it in my mind. I was like, okay, cool. What are the steps you need to do to get there? Lay them out, make it easy and achievable. Celebrate every little win that you get. Like, every little step is progress, even if it is to the side, even if it is a little bit back. It is progress, and that's the one thing that I kept in my mind throughout it all. To my younger self, I'd probably say, don't be so scared to try the crazy things. They say there's nothing new under the sun, and they say that what is what was. But at the same time, like, your thought process and what crazy things come through your mind is probably something someone else is thinking about. So don't be too shy or too scared to just dive in. You won't be alone, and yeah, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Take the risk, enjoy yourself, love every moment, because I feel like at times I kind of got too caught up in where I wanted to be, trying to make something of myself rather than just being at times. So yeah, I consider success to be that moment where you can look at something that you've done and you can see the impact that it's had on people, and it's something positive. I believe that we are all here on this journey of life for each other, not for ourselves. So if it is by any way me being here is actually helping someone else get through something, or just helping someone else think of something a different way, with a different perspective, then yeah, I feel like I've made an impact. And if that's a positive one, I see that as something to be very proud of. Anybody wanting to get into my field, clinical research or clinical trials, I would say that it's always great to put your best foot forward, be confident in the skills that you already have. It's a very kind of personal industry where you're working with people, you're working with people's lives, you're working with medications that could really, really impact someone. So always kind of be true to yourself, know what it is that you are talking about. And if it is that you get to an interview and you're not really sure what to say, literally just talk about your values. And what people really want to know is, why do you want to be a part of this? Clinical research has its own stigma. It is something that they're trying medications that may not actually necessarily work. But the thing is, you are making progress to try and to make a you're trying to make a difference. So just literally just stick to your guns, stick to your values, and just put your best foot forward. Add value wherever you are. Big obstacles for me, stuff I had to overcome, was times a sense of pride. Obviously I started from a young age kind of having this mindset of, positive thinking, but I'd say that pride can at times be really, really like poison. Having that inside of you, being so proud of your previous achievements that you're looking back on it and saying, okay, yeah, I did really, really great here, did really, really great there. But if that's what you're looking behind and not actually looking at what's in front of you, it did at times take me out of the moment. And as well, another obstacle I'd say is what people would say as well, because people weren't really so knowledgeable about my industry around me. What they would say was pretty much an opinion based on kind of their experience with the medical industry, and everyone was saying you should be a doctor, and I was like, I don't really want to do that. But trying to bridge the gap of understanding has actually enabled me to be a better person, to be better at actually speaking about my industry with people who may not know anything about it, or just maybe have a little tiny bit of knowledge. It's helped me, especially. What's next for me? I actually pursue other creative stuff on the side of being working in my industry, because it's pretty much Monday to Friday kind of work. But I also play guitar and the bass guitar as well, and I also like riding my bike, fixed gear bikes, and chilling with cool people as well. A lot of my friends are in the creative industry, which makes my life very, very colourful. So for me, moving forward, I want to work more with them. I want to bridge the gap between the scientific kind of clinical trials world, where it's really quite clinical, and the creative world, where both industries both need each other. We both need each other's ideas and each other's vibes, because that would be really, really dull in the clinical research industry, and the creative industry might just go out of control. So yeah, putting the two skills together and two people together is my goal. Something I want to do as well.